the United Kingdom. An ancient land. A land of roughly 65 million inhabitants, occupying just under 250,000 square kilometers. By comparison to Canada, that's over 3 times the population in just 2.5% of the land area. As the term united implies, the UK is comprised of several nations, namely England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland, but not Southern Ireland, which does not exist, and is instead called regular Ireland, or Ireland for short. As the term kingdom implies, the UK is ruled over by a monarch, namely Queen Elizabeth II, who is not only the oldest monarch in the world, but also surpassed the 63 years, 7 months and 2 days rule of Queen Victoria earlier this year, and is thus the longest reigning monarch in English history. But to best appreciate the wonder and beauty of life in the United Kingdom, it is perhaps best to take an outsider's perspective. Imagine being Canadian, German, or even sus scrofa domesticus, as we explore some better or lesser known aspects of the UK.
The weather.
The rain is perhaps as strongly associated with England as a good cup of tea. It would be more accurate to say that the country has a temperate weather climate with quickly changing weather patterns. And though it is always wise to pack an umbrella as it might rain on any given day, particularly in winter, it is hard to believe that it is November 21st and that this city endured what locals would call a snowstorm last night. As little evidence remains now. Leanne Scholz reporting here in England. Fun fact.
The first motorist to be fined for speeding in the UK was Walter Arnold in 1896. He was doing 8 miles per hour in a 2 mile per hour zone.
And now for some ridiculously named food products. Number 3. Spotted Dick. Number 2. Squirty Cream. And number 1. Mr. Brain's Pork Faggots.
While we came to explore the local culture, it is certainly worth noting that the local culture came to explore us, or specifically Ludwig, as the BBC, in the most official British capacity, invited themselves to his 3rd birthday party last January.
Making a pig of himself. Well, it's his birthday after all. Ludwig is a Vietnamese pot-bellied pig. Husband and wife Mike and Leanne, who recently lived in Canada, have made Derby their new home. He's named after Ludwig van Beethoven and likes to play his toy piano. But he couldn't quite perform a symphony today.
Your house is pretty tidy. It's not exactly a pigsty, is it?
Well, I have used that as an excuse before, although I think it's no different than anyone else who has a 240-pound toddler. You just got to pick up after them.
And tell us what happened when people did come into your house. You had some burglars, didn't you?
Yeah, we were asleep at the time. The door was unlocked, and they weren't in here very long before Ludwig got up and made a noise and scared them off. I came downstairs shortly thereafter, and not much was disturbed anyway, so he did a great job protecting the house.
Ellie lives nearby and came to give Ludwig another tasty present. His owners say he needs to lose some weight, especially after all these birthday treats.
Did you realise he was going to grow quite so big?
We were hoping for a little bit more of a micro pig as opposed to a macro pig, but he came from a refuge, so we always knew there was a chance.
Ludwig loves music, so it's time for a song.
Happy birthday to you and many more.
Simon Ward, BBC East Midlands Today, Derby.
which quickly spun itself into a media frenzy which peaked around the time Ludwig appeared on People magazine's website and the front page of the Toronto Star.
The United Kingdom makes many cultural contributions globally, but there appear to be two aspects of UK culture that dominate over the rest. The first is literature. The United Kingdom has contributed many great authors to history, such as T.S. Eliot, Jane Austen, John Milton, Charles Dickens, William Blake, John Keats, and William Shakespeare, the immortal bard, but to name a few. And for the second, British dry wit. Now imagine if we combined the two, classic British literature and dry wit. And for those who can't, here's a short clip demonstrating the outcome.
And pray, Miss Bennet, what do you call this quaint country dance?
We call it the conga, Miss Bingley. I am surprised you have not heard of it.
Do you hear that, Mr. Darcy? Miss Bennet chides us for our ignorance of local customs.
Certainly did not mean to chide, but I confess myself surprised by Mr. Darcy's behaviour.
Miss Bennet, you astound me. What could there be in the behaviour of poor Mr. Darcy that provokes such hasty slander?
Forgive my impertinence. I merely wish to observe that Mr. Darcy refuses to partake of the conga. Yet gentlemen are scarce, and there are plainly several young ladies left wholly out of the conga.
But what in heavens has this to do with Mr. Darcy?
It's meant to go boy, girl, boy, girl.
Mr. Darcy?
It's meant to go boy, girl, boy, girl. You are right, Miss Bennet. Perhaps I am too hard. It is only in defence of my rank that I feel bound to abstain. A gentleman does not conga.
I would be loath to make a habit of contradicting you, sir, but my father is a gentleman, and he congas with the best of them. Perhaps it is not simply the conga, but all manner of dance that you consider beneath your station.
Indeed not, Miss Bennet. But you must allow that the only dance that my position could possibly support is that of freestyle disco.
No, you're not, Miss Bennet. But Mr. Darcy has been freestyle disco champion of all Derbyshire these last dozen years.
I confess I did not know.
In faith, what would appear to be the summation of all that you do not know, Miss Bennet, would make for quite...
Oh, Caroline, will you please shut the up?
Perhaps, Mr. Darcy, you would be good enough to favour us with a brief exhibition of your freestyle disco prowess.
I see that it has been forced upon me from the start. I assure you it gives me no pleasure.
Fun facts.
In 1894, the Times estimated that by 1950, London would be 9 feet deep in horse manure.
While the United Kingdom is very rich in local customs and traditions, thousands of years of history have shaped these traditions, and this can make it difficult from an outsider's perspective to understand just what is happening. So I asked the question, what, from an outsider's perspective, might be the strangest UK tradition? For many of you, the answer was clear. Morris dancing. But for me, it's the Cooper's Hill cheese races.
And the cheese is rolling, and so are the people. The people are rolling down the hill after the cheese. First one over the finish line wins the cheese. And then they do it again. And don't forget, you could win the cheese. And again. And there you have it, the Cooper's Hill cheese roll. Fun facts.
People in Victorian Britain who couldn't afford chimney sweeps dropped live geese down their chimneys instead.
Sometimes, and I really just mean sometimes, maybe 5% of the time, I will encounter someone, usually a stranger, that I cannot understand. And there's a finite amount of times that you can ask anybody to repeat themselves without both of you feeling really stupid. So I usually try to narrow it down into a yes or no close-ended question. And then when they give you back 3 unintelligible syllables, I mean, what are you supposed to do with that? So I know it's not right, but eventually I just start to agree with them. I just nod and smile and absolutely, until the encounter is over. Again, I know it's wrong to just vapidly agree with something because you can't understand what the person is saying, but sometimes you have no other choice.
Which of the following is correct? They were all correct.
A trunk is a boot, and a boot is a welly. You may watch the TV, but we like to watch the telly. Your pants are now called trousers, and your panties are your pants. Factories and appliances the English both call plants.
A trunk is a boot and a boot is a welly. You saw it on your TV, well we saw it on the telly. And pants are now called trousers 'cause your panties are your pants. Both factories and appliances the English just call plants. The weather. And in an important weather update, it is December the 20th and a balmy 12 degrees outside. Fun fact.
One of Queen Victoria's wedding gifts was a 3-meter diameter, half-ton cheese. So whether you live here, have never been, or something in between, we hope you have enjoyed our program. And speaking not only for myself, but on behalf of all 3 of us here at Coffee Cup Productions, it has been wonderful making new friends in the UK, and to friends and family far away, we'll see you soon. Thanks for watching, and stay classy.